Welcome. I'm glad you're still with us. We're in Chapter 8. We're going to talk about the full edit mode. You finally made it to the full edit mode. I'm very happy because the full edit mode is a more hands-on approach. It allows you for more versatility and creativity, as you'll see as we move through the next tutorials. In this chapter, we have 4 images here. So they'll go ahead and select on Navigate, Zoom, and then right-click and choose Edit with Photoshop Elements Editor, which will open up in the editor. Remember, we're in the editor because you see this organizer icon, and from the obvious you see the tools and sorts, but sometimes just seeing that can help out a little. Now let's give a brief overview of what the editor is. Well, we know we're in full edit mode because we have 3 task panes here: edit, create, and share, and under the edit we have a full, quick, or guided view, and we're in full view. Okay, now let's talk about some things. You can sign in, or you can create an Adobe ID, and as you hover over, it gives you a nice little tool tip. You can arrange your photo when you have more than one photo. You can arrange them in different views. Okay. Oh, excuse me, select the move tool here. We have reset panels. What this means, if I were to drag this layers panel out here because I was using it and I needed to work with it in a different area, and I wanted it to go back, but I didn't want to take the time, I can just click reset panels and it resets it back to the original workspace that Adobe has designed for us. In Photoshop, you have the ability to create different workspaces for, if you're doing photography or artwork, but in Photoshop Elements you have one. Yes, you can drag the panels around, but it's only one workspace. We have our undo and redos. To get back to organizer, you can click on this icon. This is a little welcome screen. You can minimize, maximize, or close the editor. Okay. Let's see here. We have our project bin. Remember, if you don't see the project bin and it's collapsed, just double click it or select Window, Project Bin. You know that it's open because there's a check mark next to it. We have our tools on the left-hand side here, and this changes to reflect which tool we're using. So if I were to use the Zoom tool, the Zoom options would open up. If I use a Move, those options would open up. We have our typical menu items that you're used to seeing. And then something else I want to talk about. This is just a personal preference. Sometimes it can seem a little jaggedy on your view, so I'll highlight the percentage here and just change it to an even number. That's just me. I don't know why, I just do that. Next to it, you can view certain things. You can view the document size, 69.9 megapixels. You can view the profile, the sRGB of what it was taken in. That you can view the dimensions, which is the one I usually leave it on, or the scratch size, efficiency, timing, or this one, the current tool. Maybe you want to know which tool's selected, you can just use that option. I rarely ever do. I usually leave it on document dimensions. Another interesting thing here is right here, it tells you the name of the file, navigate_zoom with the format of PSD, which is Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. You want to leave it in PSD format because that keeps your styles, your layers, and effects intact. This is at a magnification of 16%. We're in RGB color mode, and we're in 16 bits. Sometimes you might see a little asterisk beside that. That means there was a change in the file, and you need to save it, usually indicating that it needs to be saved. Now let's talk about some other things. We also have a flyout menu. I call this from the old days a flyout menu. Sorry about that. But if you click it, it gives you other options. So sometimes you may see that, you may not see that. So if I wanted to, I can drag out the layers panel, and then I can collapse it to just I call it the icon view if you wanted to, and then move that around to different spots if you wanted to. You can also close it. If you close it and you get worried, no problem, just go to Window and then go back to Layers, and there's your layers. And if you want, reset panels, and it brings it back to where it was. You can even open other panels. Let's say you wanted to work with adjustments. We'll talk about that in a later tutorial. Now you have your adjustments panel open. You can combine it with the layers by just clicking on adjustments and dragging it to where you see the blue bar or the blue border, and I'll tell you where it's going to be added. So now we have layers and adjustments together. We can take these two and combine it into this one, and we can have four tabbed panels. Okay, if you didn't like them, you can click on that flyout like I told you, and unfortunately you can't see it, but it'll say close tab group. That's what that means. If you click close, it just closes the immediate control panel you're working on. If you say tab group, it closes all of them, which is done. But again, if you're worried, just go ahead and click Reset Panels. Bam. So that's probably one of the greatest quick buttons that you can use. Very nice. And let's not forget, we can also drag the tools out. Maybe you want to drag the tools out, so you want to, instead of going so far over to the screen, you want to work closer. Maybe you want more real estate space. You can do that. If you click on the double icon arrow here, it'll open the single. Click it again. Maybe you want to close it, no problem. And again, how do we do that? Windows, Tools, no problem. Put them back, and we can drag them back in this to the space, no problem. And in the next lesson, we're going to talk about the navigation.